What's going on? I am back in the studio, so to speak, and today I want to talk about making failure your friend instead of your enemy, and really talking about the idea that failure is not fatal. I'm going to read a quote for you, which I find to be absolutely incredible. Whether we're talking about business or relationships, this is really important for us. And here's what it says. Let me pull it up here. This is so amazing. People change when they hurt enough that they have to, learn enough that they want to, and receive enough that they're able to. So it's so amazing, that quote, that they hurt enough that they have to, learn enough that they want to, or receive enough that they're able to. And when you look at that quote, um, I want to kind of narrow in on the hurt, right? Failure. It doesn't have to be fatal. It doesn't have to be the end of the story. Um, and one of the great things about network marketing and the business model that we're all in is that failure literally is just a reset for you every day. It doesn't matter that you didn't talk to anybody today or yesterday or the day before. You literally can start over today. It doesn't matter if you gave them the wrong information, or your presentation wasn't perfect. It doesn't matter if you didn't have the right answers. It doesn't have to be fatal. And really, and as a professional fighter, I saw this a lot. Um, when when you really looked at professional athletics, okay, in general, okay, it doesn't matter if we're talking about MMA, we're talking about football, baseball, basketball, whatever the story is. Um, when you go and you look at people's performances from a coaching perspective, right? Do you think that people learn the most when they win, or when they lose, or when they fail? Um, in football, if the quarterback goes through his progressions and he makes multiple mistakes, he fails in his progression. Do you think he learns more from that, or having 100% rating or 130% rating, however they do that? I don't know. When fighters are in training camps, do you think they work on their strengths, or are they trying to shore up their weaknesses, right? When a fighter gets knocked out, what do you think he does? He goes back to the drawing board and he really begins to work on his striking so that that doesn't happen again. Um, and through the course of life, I really believe that failure is one of the best teachers and one of our best friends that we could ever have, because truthfully, it causes in us emotions that actually lead us to take action. You don't like that? I don't like to lose. I hate it. It drives me crazy. I don't like to fail. It drives me crazy. Nothing drives me crazier than failure. And I feel like when that happens in my life, I go through a range of emotions. I'm embarrassed. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm usually angry at myself. And when you look at all those different factors, it actually is a motivator to get better, to change. And, you know, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. If we're talking about relationships, we're talking about business, we're talking about athletics, whatever the story is. I love that quote because it's either going to cause you enough pain that you change it. Okay. It's going to inform you enough to change, right? Um, I think it's a great starting point. I just use it as an example. Um, when you read Dave Ramsey's stuff, it's a great starting point. It really changes the way you think about money. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says, um, but I definitely like that as a beginning basis. Okay. And then when you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you understand that when you have a 9 to 5 job at the employment of somebody else, you really serve their wealth, not yours. You're making somebody else rich off your, you know, your prime energy, right? And this is that once you learn enough, you'll change. Or once you've received enough, then you can also change. And that is just so powerful, guys. And imagine if we reframed our life from looking at failure as negative to looking at it from a perspective of a springboard of growth, a springboard of getting better. Life is a journey. It really is truly a journey, and it's meant to be fun. It's meant to move us as people through this journey where we become better. And you never become better when everything's perfect. You only become better when you recognize that you have areas of growth. And I just want to challenge you guys today to think about this. What has been a painful experience that was a catalyst in your life for change and growth? Whether that's business, whether that's relationships, whether that's parenting and family. And when you look at that catalyst, you know, it should have helped you learn, but it also should have led you to greater action, right? And again, to go back to kind of the fighting analogy, if I get knocked out, it should teach me to keep my hands up, right? Or, you know, to shield, or, you know, to bob and weave, right? All those different things. If you get wiped out in a stock market crash, that means you were too centric in the market and not diversified in your assets. See, these are all experiences that should lead us into a growth pattern instead of a decline or a withdrawing pattern. And it should lead us to greater action. What we learn out of that failure should lead us to greater action. I just want you guys to think about it. What has been something, and if you want to pop in and, you know, help me out here and comment, what's been a painful experience that you learned from and it led you to take action? And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to try to come up with a consistent time. I've been traveling the last couple of days and just doing it when I could. But I'm going to try to come up with a consistent time and do this every day at the same time, which is really difficult with kids. But, you know, I'm going to give it a whirl. And we'll see you tomorrow. Just kind of heads up, we're going to talk about relationships a little bit more. We're going to be talking about learning the names of people. And I got a great story from San Antonio. We'll talk to you tomorrow.